You throw another moon at me, and I'm gonna lose it.
Stark.
You know me?
I do. You're not the only one cursed with knowledge.
My only curse is you.
All that for a drop of blood. You have my respect, Stark. When I'm done, half of humanity will still be alive. I hope they remember you.
Stop! Spare his life, and I will give you the stone.
No tricks.
Don't.
One to go.
Where is he? Did we just lose? Why would you do that? We're in the end.
Welcome to the Mr. Pictures channel. Today, I'm going to bring a story entering the MCU, where many interesting points will be brought up about an alternative version of Tony Stark with gold armor to fight an intergalactic threat. Let's get straight to the point. Tony Stark's last legacy, awakening at the end of the universe. Tony Stark opened his eyes and blinked several times. The last thing he remembered was the snap of his fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet. He had defeated Thanos. He had saved the universe. But then, he died. Or at least should have died. He stood up slowly, feeling the weight of his own body. But something was different. There was no pain, no burns, no damage caused by using the gauntlet. Where the hell was he? Looking around, he realized that the scenario didn't make sense. The sky above was an infinite void, filled with stars that seemed to pulse in unknown patterns. The ground beneath his feet was not Earth, but a metallic surface, shiny and cold. Welcome to the end, Tony Stark. He turned sharply. Before him, a tall man dressed in a white robe was watching him with an enigmatic gaze. His skin seemed to be made of light, and his eyes glowed as if they contained entire galaxies. "Who are you?" Tony asked, feeling his mind already starting to work on 1,000 hypotheses. The being smiled slightly. "I'm the Watcher." Tony crossed his arms. "Okay, is this some kind of post-mortem delusion? Because if it is, I have to say I was expecting something less depressing." The Watchman remained expressionless. "You're not dead, Tony Stark, but you're not alive either. You were pulled to this point in time and space for a greater reason." Tony frowned. "And what would be that reason?" The Watcher took a deep breath before speaking. "You saved one universe, but in doing so, you doomed another." Tony was silent for a moment. "You'll need to be more specific." The Watcher extended his hand, and a holographic projection appeared. Tony saw distorted images of a reality he didn't recognize. Cities were on fire. Fallen heroes lay in ruins. At the center of it all, man in gold and black armor, raising a handful of cosmic energy. Tony's blood ran cold. He knew that armor design. It was his. "This can't be real." The Watcher looked directly at him. "This is a version of you, Tony Stark. A version that realized that to save the universe, it was not enough to destroy villains. It was necessary to rule everything, to be the only absolute truth." Tony swallowed. "And you want me to fix it?" The Watcher nodded. "You are the only person who can stand up to him. You must stop his own rise to power." Tony ran a hand over his face and laughed humorlessly. "Great. Now I'm hunting the evil version of myself. This sounds like a typical day in my life." The Watcher watched him for a moment before speaking. "This will be your toughest battle, Tony Stark. Because to beat him, you'll need to be more than Iron Man." Tony looked at the projection of his corrupted version and took a deep breath. He had faced gods, titans, and aliens, but he had never faced himself. And that was a problem. Returned to the battlefield, Tony felt an energy envelope his body. Before he could react, he was pulled into the dimensional vortex created by the Watcher. In the blink of an eye, he found himself in a devastated world. The air was heavy. The smell of destruction and blood permeated the environment. And then he saw it. On the horizon, an immense golden palace rose in the center of what was left of New York. Technological towers floated, drones patrolled the sky, and giant suits of armor marched like armies. And at the top of that empire, he was there. Tony Stark, or rather, Doom Stark. The alternate version of himself, who had abandoned all morality and become the supreme ruler of the multiverse. Tony clenched his fists. He needed to find allies. He needed to stop this. Because if I couldn't, humanity would no longer have hope. The golden path. The golden armor gleamed under the cold light of the universe. Tony Stark traversed the far reaches of space, his thrusters propelling him to a destination few would dare visit, the domain of the Celestials. He needed answers. how to defeat the version of himself that had become Doom. The stars became blurs as he accelerated, guided by ancient coordinates that were stored in his armor. Finally, after what seemed like hours, he arrived at the scene. The Eternal Abyss. A formless void where only those who had transcended mortality could enter. Tony took a deep breath. Okay, Celestials, I hope you're home. He landed in the center of the void, and as soon as his feet touched the invisible surface, the universe around him distorted. Suddenly, he was in front of them, the Celestials. Their colossal bodies shone like living stars, each of them representing a force beyond human comprehension. Orisham the Judge was the first to speak. Iron Man, why did you come to us? Tony wasted no time. Then, I need to know how to defeat Doomstark. He is collapsing the lines of the multiverse and intends to rule everything. I need a way to stop him. The Celestials remained silent for a moment. Then, one of them, Exitar, the Executioner, replied, "You'll never make it alone." Tony frowned. That's not a helpful answer, friend. I need something more specific. Orisham tilted his head slightly. Doomstark has become an entity beyond human understanding. He has absorbed powers that have made him an absolute being. If you want to defeat him, you will need strengths beyond your own. Tony gritted his teeth. So what do I do? Sit and watch as he rewrites reality his way? It was then that Exitar said something that made Tony shudder. If you want hope, you must turn to those who were once by your side. Tony was silent. Those who were by your side. He knew exactly what that meant. The Avengers. But they were all dead, right? Or could it be? He felt a spark of hope. If there was a chance, however small, that his former allies could help him, he needed to try. Wasting no time, Tony activated the thrusters and left the Celestials' domain. He had a new goal. Bring back those who could prevent the multiverse apocalypse. And if that meant defying the laws of time and death, so be it. Tony Stark was ready to rewrite history. The return of the Avengers. The Golden Armor's engines roared as Tony tore through the vastness of space, his mind racing with the impossible idea the Celestials had suggested. Reach out to those who were once by your side. But how? The Avengers were dead, scattered, or simply unable to face a being like Doomstark. He needed something more. And then, an idea emerged. If Doomstark had learned to manipulate time and space to shape the multiverse to his will, so could Tony Stark. His calculations were bold, bordering on insanity. But he had no choice. He would defy death itself. The first target, the God of Thunder Tony, adjusted the coordinates. Destination: Asgard. Or at least what was left of it. With a sonic boom, he tore through Earth's atmosphere and into space, heading towards the wreckage of Asgard floating in the cosmos. The rubble of the ancient home of the gods still glowed with the golden energy of the destroyed Bifrost. But Tony wasn't there for the wreckage. He knew that if there was any chance of bringing Thor back, he would have to look to Valhalla. The idea seemed absurd. Valhalla was not a place accessible to mere mortals, but Tony was not just any mortal. With his enhanced golden armor, he activated an experimental technology, Dimensional Tier. Let's see if I can force my way into the House of the Gods without getting kicked out. A portal began to open. A furious, golden vortex expanded before him, revealing a realm that no human should ever see. Valhalla. He took a step forward and fell. When he opened his eyes, he was standing on a golden field, under an eternal sky of battles. Ancient warriors, legendary figures. And there, in the center, raising his hammer in a toast with the fallen, was he, Thor. Tony approached. The God of Thunder turned around, eyes blazing like raging storms. "Stark! How the hell did you get here?" Tony smiled. Long story, but in short, the universe is screwed, and we need your hammer once again. Thor stared at Tony for a moment. Then he threw his mug of mead aside and picked up Mjolnir. Then let's crush Doom. And a new Avenger had returned. The second target, the soldier and the King Thor and Tony now had a clear goal. They needed to find other allies. Next destination, Wakanda. Vibranium technology could be the key to bolstering the resistance against Doom Stark. They landed at the gates of Wakanda, only to find the kingdom shrouded in shadow and silence. Tony felt a chill. That doesn't feel right. Thor swung Mjolnir, ready to fight. It was then that a figure emerged from the darkness. Black Panther. But it wasn't the same T'Challa that Tony knew. This Black Panther looked older, darker, and carried the look of someone who had already seen the end of the world. Stark, you're back. Too late. Before Tony could ask, something moved behind T'Challa, a colossal shadow, a figure with a vibranium shield split in half. Tony's eyes widened. Steve! Captain America stepped forward, but something was wrong. His eyes were empty, his uniform torn, and when he spoke, his voice was just an echo of what it once was. Doom is already among us. Terror ran down Tony's spine. They weren't just late, Doom had already arrived first. Welcome to the Mr. Pictures channel. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most insane characters in the entire Marvel universe is Thanos. Even more so for all his achievements. Many remember the Mad Titan due to the Infinity Gauntlet. But now I'm going to bring a story where without the Infinity Gauntlet, the Mad Titan showed his true power to cosmic entities. Without further ado, let's get straight to the point. The Titan rises. After the snap of his fingers that erased half of life in the universe, Thanos' imposing body rested in an eternal void, lost among the dimensions of the unknown. His mind wandered, contemplating the consequences of his actions, until a cold and melancholy voice echoed in the darkness. Did you really believe your mission was over, my beloved? Thanos opened his eyes, finding himself before a figure, draped in a black cloak, whose pale, blank face reflected the essence of death itself. Death? Muttered the Titan, his voice full of resignation. Your balance has been achieved, but something is wrong. You feel it, don't you? Thanos looked up, intrigued. Death walked around him, his footsteps making no sound. Your act brought balance to the universe, but another force is about to emerge, far beyond the destruction you caused. The balance fragments again. What force is this? Asked Thanos, with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. The Eater of Worlds. Galactus awakens, and he is not alone. Thanos frowned, feeling the weight of the information. Death continued. Another being, a man whose soul is corrupted by supremacy. A genius who succumbed to his own ambition and merged with dark power. He is known as Doom Stark. Thanos stood up, eyes shining with new purpose. Why did you bring me back? Because you, Thanos, are the only constant between the forces that seek balance and chaos. I need you to restore harmony before the universe completely collapses. Very well, but I need power. The gauntlet is gone. Death reached out. His hand and a purple flash enveloped Thanos, restoring his physical and mental strength. You won't need a gauntlet for this. Your power as a Titan is immense, and there is a being that can grant you more than just strength. Thanos understood. Immediately, the Silver Surfer. Find him before Doomstark destroys him. With a gesture from Death, a portal opened, and Thanos walked through without hesitation, determined to prevent the collapse of the universe. The unexpected Alliance Thanos emerged on a planet devastated by famine, whose dry forests and red skies indicated the presence of Galactus. He walked over the cracked ground until he heard metallic thunder crossing the sky. It was him, the Silver Surfer, radiating cosmic energy as he searched for traces of the Devourer. Surfer! Shouted Thanos, making his voice echo throughout the valley. The surfer spun in the air, landing with an expression of disbelief. "You should be dead." "Death does not mean the end for those who have a purpose." The surfer clenched his fists, his aura flickering. "If you came to seek revenge, I will put an end to you before you cause more destruction." Thanos raised his hand in a sign of peace. "No, this time my objective is different. Galactus is out of control, and there is a new enemy that threatens everything. I need your power to stop him. Why would I trust you? Because I do not seek glory or control, only balance. Doomstark is an aberration, a man who should not exist. If he harnesses the power of Galactus, the universe will be torn apart." The surfer hesitated, analyzing Thanos' expression. Finally, he relaxed his posture. "If your intentions are true, then I will help you. But know that if you lie, I will be your executioner." "I accept the terms." Reaching out, the Silver Surfer transferred a portion of his cosmic power to Thanos, enveloping the Titan in a silvery glow. Thanos felt his strength increased, his senses heightened, and his cosmic perception expanded. Galactus is on his way to Earth. Doomstark manipulates him like a puppet. We need to stop them both. The surfer nodded, getting on his board and taking flight, while Thanos followed him with colossal leaps, crossing galaxies towards the final battlefield. The Ravager and the God on Earth, Galactus hovered over New York, draining the energy from Earth's core as Doomstark watched with flaming eyes, raising a hand adorned in golden armor. "Kneel before a new god!" shouted Doomstark, while his drones massacred heroes and civilians. Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, and the Fantastic Four tried to stop the drones while the Invisible Woman erected protective barriers. "He's not Tony Stark anymore. He's become completely corrupted," Reed muttered, feeling impotence taking over. Suddenly, a cosmic explosion shook the scene. Thanos and the Silver Surfer landed in the midst of the chaos, catching the eye of Doomstark. "Oh, are you still alive?" Doomstark smiled, intrigued. Thanos stepped forward, eyes flashing. "Death brought me back to balance the chaos. Your reign ends here." Doomstark laughed, raising his arms and summoning black lightning at the Titan, who blocked it with a punch in the air, dissipating the energy. "I am the ultimate truth, Titan. Yes, and you are just a monster in despair." The Silver Surfer attacked with cosmic blasts, but Doomstark absorbed them, countering with a massive explosion that launched the Surfer away. Thanos then advanced with all his fury, exchanging titanic punches, with Doomstark, who used magic and technology simultaneously. "You are not worthy of your own legacy," shouted Thanos, as he broke Doomstark's golden mask, revealing a face with metallic scars and eyes glowing with power. Doomstark roared, activating his temporal fusion cannon, attempting to disintegrate Thanos. The Titan dodged, striking Doom's chest with brutal cosmic energy, cracking the golden armor. The universe doesn't need a god. It needs balance. Doomstark staggered, stunned, as Galactus began to realize the betrayal and turned against his handler. The battle was just beginning, and the fate of the multiverse depended on an unlikely alliance against the divine fury of Doomstark and the devouring power of Galactus. The collapse of the god's Galactus, the Eater of Worlds, raised his colossal cosmic hand, and his voice resounded like thunder across the ruins of New York. "Insolent! You dare to use me as a puppet!" Doomstark, even shaken, raised his scarred face, staring at the immensity of the cosmic being above him. "You are a primitive force, a tool, nothing but a hungry creature who only thinks about consuming." Galactus concentrated energy in his hands, preparing a devastating beam. However, before he could strike, Thanos charged forward with all his fury, punching Doomstark's chest with an impact that cracked the ground beneath his feet. "Your reign of madness ends here!" shouted the Titan, while Doom staggered, panting. The Silver Surfer returned to the battlefield, radiating cosmic power and keeping his board at high speed around Galactus, deflecting the Devourer's massive attacks. Thanos! If Doom Stark continues manipulating Galactus, he will destroy the entire Earth. I know, Thanos roared. But I need to get this corruption out of him first. Doom Stark, even in the midst of the fight, extended his hands and channeled a beam of golden energy directly towards Galactus's chest, as if he were trying to control the entity again. Obey me, Devourer. Your fate is in my hands. Galactus shuddered, feeling his essence being distorted by Doom's manipulations. However, this time, the Silver Surfer's cosmic power enveloped him, creating a protective barrier. You won't control him anymore, Stark. Doom. Stark, realizing he would lose control over Galactus, conjured a mystical circle around him and opened a dimensional rift. If I cannot consume this planet with Galactus, then I will go to the core of creation. The entire multiverse will kneel! Before Thanos could stop it, Doomstark was sucked into the rift, disappearing in a black flash. Galactus, finally freed from the influence, lowered his hand and turned his glowing eyes to the Silver Surfer. That man's betrayal will not be forgotten, but my hunger persists. Thanos approached, his intense eyes fixed on the cosmic immensity of Galactus. Devourer, if you wish to maintain your existence, know that Stark is trying to corrupt the foundations of the multiverse. This will destroy even your eternal hunger. Galactus hesitated, his colossal mind pondering the Titan's words. If the universe perishes, my hunger will never be satisfied. The Surfer intervened. We need to track down Doomstark before he grows stronger beyond what we can bear. You, Devourer, know the multiverse better than anyone. Galactus raised his hand, touching the void and opening a cosmic window. Through it, they could see Doomstark crossing dimensions, absorbing the power of the worlds destroyed by his manipulation. He intends to merge realities, create a single universe under his rule, said the Surfer. Thanos snorted, clenching his fists. If that happens, he will become an absolute god, immortal, omnipotent. Galactus projected a glowing energy, creating a dimensional capsule around Thanos and the Surfer. I will send you to him, but know, if you fail, there will be no more reality to consume. Understood. They both responded in unison. The core of creation. Doomstark floated in an infinite white space, where realities collided and merged in waves of pure chaos. His body was enveloped in a golden glow, and his consciousness was no longer human. He felt like he was time and space itself. I am the truth, the only one capable of rewriting destiny. Suddenly, a burst of cosmic energy caused the core to shake. Thanos and the Silver Surfer appeared, their presence breaking the distorted harmony that Doom created. You will not have absolute power, just shouted the Surfer, releasing a silver blast at Doom. Doomstark dodged with a simple movement, and a golden wave hit the Surfer, throwing him away. Do you really think you can stop me? I have transcended even creation itself, Thanos charged. Forward, now shrouded in a cosmic aura, punching Doom so hard that the reality around them shattered into fragments. Your power is great, but your mind is corrupt, Doom laughed, grabbing Thanos by the neck and throwing him into a field of prismatic energy that enveloped him in pain and agony. I'm a god. You're just a failed monster. Suddenly, the Silver Surfer attacked again, channeling all the cosmic energy into Doomstark's armor, overloading the systems and causing it to emit sparks and vibrations. His power is stable. He can't control so much energy. Thanos took advantage of the gap and stood up, punching Doom repeatedly, shattering the armor into pieces as his energy dissipated. Doomstark fell to his knees, his broken helmet revealing his worn, pale face. Do you think you won?" Before he could continue, Thanos grabbed him by the neck. "You were never a god, just a broken man who tried to rise above his own humanity." With one last move, Thanos focused his cosmic energy and crushed the core of Doom's armor, causing it to explode in a blinding flash. When the light dissipated, only fragments of metal floated in the white expanse. The Silver Surfer landed next to Thanos, watching the fragments disintegrate. "It is done. The balance has been restored." Thanos looked into space, his face serious and contemplative. "Chaos never ends, Surfer. There will always be someone seeking absolute power. But as long as I exist, I will not allow the universe to perish." The Surfer nodded silently, while Galactus appeared in the distance, observing the result. "You saved creation, but know, mortals, that there will always be threats, and true balance depends on eternal vigilance." Thanos took one last look at the infinite horizon, knowing that, for now, his purpose was fulfilled, but that new challenges would always arise, testing the very essence of existence. Continues. That's our story today. What do you believe about it? Don't forget to leave a comment with your opinion. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. Bye!